Let's go, man, go.
All right, so this is Tony asked me to give a couple of stories, and a master blaster, a master parachutist. That's a master wings right there. Got those back in 1983. I went to jump school in 1973, and I was going to tell you about hard jump. And we all had some pretty hard jumps. Special forces, you're always jumping with super heavy rucksacks with your weapons and every kind of thing that to help out the medic and to help out the demo sergeants and to help out the commo sergeants with the old radios. Had those 109s where you sit on a pedestal and you have to crank these damn things. They're about 50 pounds, and so every time we'd jump, we'd have a 100+ pound rucksack and at least a 25 to, I've felt some up to about a 50 pound LBE and your weapon, be it a M16 with 203 or an M60, and I mean, it would bust our butts. One jump we had gone on a ODA 322, which is my old team, best special forces team going.
God's A team.
Great, God's A team. That's right. Great group of guys. Some really hardcore combat soldiers. I mean, some really just some real badasses. And anyway, we went over to England. We had an exchange program with the British SAS, the Special Air Service, and there's some real badasses. They're good guys. They're no better than we were, and we don't think we were any better than they were. But anyway, everybody was out there, trying to outdo each other, and we made several jumps there with the British. And one jump we had one night was C-130, and the SAS has their own Air Force, the C-130s and Augusta 109 helicopters and all, and several other aircraft, and we're out there jumping with them that night. And I remember that night that in my rucksack I had two 81mm mortar rounds, live rounds. I had over 10 pounds of C4, and plus just the regular gear we had. And this was the end of October, first part of November, and we were up on the Scottish border and up near Otterburn, way up north England, and it was raining and the wind was blowing, and we were having a hard time getting resupplies while we were out there during some of the phases because the wind was blowing 40 and 50 miles an hour. It's like being in a perpetual damn hurricane up there, and everything you had was soaking wet. You didn't have Gore-Tex and all. You had wool. It was the best thing that we had, and it'd get soaking wet and get really heavy, but it'd still keep you kind of warm. And but the rest of it, holy crap! So one night we had a infield jump, and we had all three teams were jumping in, 12-man teams, and we jumped in that night, and it was probably about the darkest night that I ever jumped. Normally, at least several hundred feet off the ground, I can pick up the treetops and see somewhat of the horizon. This, you couldn't see the hand in front of your face. And we're out about number 3 or 4 in the door. It's one of these jumps that where you stand up, you just sag and actually put your rucksack there that's strapped to your up underneath your reserve is actually dragging across the damn floor, and you got your LBE underneath it. We were jumping a FNFAL, an L1A1, assault rifle, piece of shit. But anyway, I didn't like that gun, and it didn't get along. I love M16. But anyway, we were jumping, and I remember being there. They didn't have a Mako briefing, which lets you know, the particulars of your aircraft, speed, the altitude you're jumping and all. And normally we'd jump between 800 and 1,000 feet AGL. That's above ground level. Well, we're up there, and I asked the dispatcher, their jump master, I said, how high are we jumping tonight? And he said, 1,000, 1,000 mate, 1,000. So I took that as 1,000 feet AGL. That was 1,000 feet MSL, mean sea level. And so we were jumping between 400 and 500 feet AGL. So holy squat. And we're not jumping an MC-1-1, which is a steerable parachute. We're jumping a T-10 with the old cotton harnesses and stuff and the bang box. I think it was probably some old vintage World War II chute, or, you know, harness and everything. So we flew way up into North Scotland. I mean, up into northern England there on the Scottish border. And they got us up. And like I said, everything you could do just to stand up. You're so heavy because your chute weighs 50 or 55 pounds. We got up there and the green light came on. I went out that door, and to this day I believe that you don't do a good body position and do a good, you know, springing out the door like they used to teach us in jump school. Now they just teach you to fall out. Well, by damn, that's what I did with that group. I fell out. I was so heavy, there's no way you could get a good, you know, jump out the door. So you hit that step, and I fell out, and when I did, I actually flipped through my risers as they were coming out. I was so damn heavy. I flipped through my risers, and then I had just a really bunch of twisted suspension lines, and I'm looking for the horizon. I'm trying to get my line straight, and hell, I'm a master parachutist by then. You know, I had probably 100-something jumps, you know, at that time, and good God Almighty. And I'm looking, and I'm used to how long it takes if you're jumping from, you know, 700-800 feet or above. And so, dadgummit, I'm looking, and I said, well, hell, you know, I don't know how high I am. I said, I better go ahead, you know, I get ready to drop my rucksack, because you damn sure don't want to land with it strapped to your legs. It'll break your legs. And so I looked, and I could hear, when you get down about 150 feet or so, you actually can hear the acoustics of the parachute, and the air going through the parachute will actually echo off the ground and come back up. And I went, holy squat, I'm about 100-something feet off. I pulled my quick release, and you got a 15-foot lowering line. That thing, it played out about 10 feet. Wham! It hit the ground. I hit the ground, and I never land with my feet apart. Hell no. I landed with my feet apart, and I fractured both my ankles. It busted my ass. God almighty. I laid there damn near unconscious for probably 10 minutes or so. And then when I tried to stand up, I couldn't stand up. I kept falling down. So I laid out there on that drop zone, and I put my flashlight, had red lens on it, and I put that on me. I'd been injured. And I tried, and I couldn't get up. And some guy showed up out of the dark, and he tried to pick, one of the SAS guys, he tried to pick me up in my rucksack. He kept falling down. He said, hell, I can't pick a damn heavy rucksack up, and you too. And I said, well, you know, whatever. So then we had another guy show up, and so between the three of us, we were able to get my busted ass and my gear and get in the turn-in point, and turn to find out the first guy that showed up was the brigadier. He was the head SAS. He was a regimental commander. And then the second guy showed up was the regimental chaplain. And they said, boy, you busted your ass. I said, yeah, no kidding. So, you know, we got to ride there to the hospital of the 36 guys there, 30 of them were injured during the 6 weeks we were over there training. And there was about a dozen U.S. Army Special Forces and about a dozen SAS troopers that all got hurt on that damn jump. And I know the team sergeant ended up having an open fracture on his fib on his leg, and the radio guy broke his back. I fractured my ankles, and man, that is a story of what it's like to be in SF. And I've jumped in Special Forces, and I've jumped in the 82nd Airborne Division, and a bunch of other different units. That was my hardest jump right there.